for September of 2024. Please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We'll start off this evening with roll call. Myself, Chairman Jim Burtis. Wendy Rodriguez is absent. Keith Hollick. Here. Marianne Cavallero is not here and no longer on the board, and we would like to thank her for her service. Mark Woody.
Here.
All right, 3 in attendance. And I'd just like to notify the applicant, seeing as we have 3 people of a normal 5-person board in attendance tonight, if your item moves forward to a vote, it would have to be a unanimous yes vote from the 3 members on the board for you to pass through to the next step. Do you understand? Yes. Okay.
We do have a quorum, so we do have enough to have a meeting tonight. It's really up to the applicant if he wishes the board to hear and make a decision tonight.
Okay. Give us just a moment. We have some other items to take care of. I'd like to ask for a motion from one of the board members to approve the June 19th meeting minutes.
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
Okay, so a motion by Keith,
I second that motion.
second by Mark. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Record will show it carries. All right. We'll go ahead and move ahead to our one and only agenda item for this evening, which is 137 Linden Avenue. So at this point, I'd like to invite the applicant up to the podium. Please be sure to speak into the microphone. And if you could, just give us an update as to where you're at from the last time we met.
Okay, last time I think you asked me to submit, show the, the church was on the market for rent. I did the printout, I give to Martina. So that's the last time we're talking about, right? So get paper to Martina.
Okay. And just to recap for the audience and our viewers at home, our applicant is from 137 Linden Avenue, and they're seeking a use variance for a non-owner occupied 2-family dwelling in the OR2 zoning.
Yes.
Okay. So I believe part of the assignment from last meeting to this meeting was that you were going to go out and look for potential renters, leasers for your space.
Yes.
How did that process work out for you?
I put on market a long time. People are interested to rent the church, but they need me put a lot of work, improve them. So right now I don't have enough money, so I have to, if possible, let me rent another apartment, get some income, then I can start fix the church and rent them out. Right now I have very, very tight budget for. I've spent a lot of time, money. I almost spent 7 years to keep improvement and put some money. Right now I'm very, very tight with budget. So
Okay.
very difficult finance. So I wish you can, I can get this approved for non-owned occupied, so I can rent out another apartment to get some income. So.
Did you bring any copies of the rental advertisements?
Yes,
or?
I do.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Counselor, do you have any questions?
Last time you were here, we also asked for you to provide, you had provided financials, but what you didn't state was if you were living there, that the loss would not have been as great because you would have had the owner occupied. and that's not reflected on your financials. Do you know how much you would save by doing that? So your loss wouldn't have been so great?
I mean, if I live in there, right?
Right.
Not that much. Actually, I have my family living next to the Middletown, so even they don't want to live in there, so that's the issue, Not help, So.
Okay. Do we have any questions from the board members present?
You stated that you have a church interested in renting out the church portion of the
I put a
building?
market for rent, but people came, take a look, but they say they want me to, make a very nice looks for them. So I told them, I don't have I have very difficult finance. I can't do anything. So then two group came to take a look. So they didn't rent them. So I put a market a long time.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Woody, do you have any questions? Okay.
Mr. Chairman, the public hearing is still open. If the board wishes, and I believe the applicant has stated that he would like the board to take a vote tonight, we would have to close the public hearing. Then any discussion, then it would be time for a vote.
Okay. Do the members present feel that you're ready to make a decision this evening on this applicant? I'm not asking for you to make a decision at this exact moment, just whether you're prepared this evening to make a decision after discussion.
Are you looking for the applicant to provide any additional information?
Here's where I stand. I believe that this could be marketed to fill the space that you need to fill and get the rent that you need to rent. And for that reason, I think that you need to do more research. But I am prepared to vote if you want to move forward.
Mark, are you asking the applicant for any other information without saying which way you're voting?
No, just, I have all the substantial information, but I agree with Keith. But again, if you're prepared to vote with the three of us, I'm prepared to vote.
Okay. Well, looks like we're ready to close the public hearing and move forward with a vote.
So you have to have a motion to close the public hearing.
Okay, we're looking for a motion to close the public hearing.
I make that motion.
Okay,
Close.
Mark will make the motion. Do we have a second from Keith?
I second.
Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Record will show all in favor. Next procedure would be discussion.
Discussion. Well, there's a motion for the approval of a use variance to allow a multifamily home in non-owner occupied in an OR2 zone. So any discussion with respect to that amongst the board?
Keith, Mark, anything? Okay,
The board is happy with the information that's been provided and ready to proceed then to a vote.
yes.
So there is a motion for a use variance to allow a multifamily home, non-owner occupied in an OR2 zone. There are the four factors that the board should consider when discussing the matter, and the applicant must demonstrate that they meet each criterion as laid out in the application. First criterion is the applicant cannot realize a reasonable return, provided that lack of return is substantial, as demonstrated by competent financial evidence. Second is the alleged hardship relating to the property in question is unique and does not apply to a substantial portion of the district or neighborhood. The requested use variance, if granted, will not alter the essential character of the neighborhood. And lastly, the alleged hardship has, if it's been self-created. So I think it's clear that the alleged hardship has been self-created in that when the applicant bought the property, he knew what zone it was in and what the intended use is. The requested use variance, if granted, will not alter the essential character of the neighborhood. It's an OR2 zone. It's not non-owner occupied. It has to be owner occupied. So it does change the essential character of the neighborhood. The alleged hardship relating to the property in question is unique and does not apply to a substantial portion of the district or neighborhood. In this instance, we're dealing with a large, spacious premise that was a church. Is it unique? It would be unique in that aspect, but it also can be rented out as a church, as the applicant has stated. It may require additional funding, but that's on the applicant. And lastly, the applicant cannot realize a reasonable return, provided the lack of return is substantial. The applicant has provided evidence to the board of his financial commitment to the property, showing the rental income is not sufficient. However, it doesn't factor in to the second premise or the other portion of the property not being rented. So those are the factors for the board to consider, and each one is laid out. Does the board have any questions?
I'm satisfied at this point and ready to make a decision on my end. How do the other board members feel? Are you ready for your decisions and vote?
Yeah.
Okay. No further questions at this time? Okay. All right, we'll go in alphabetical order. We'll start with Keith.
So on the motion pending before is a use variance to allow a multifamily home and non-owner occupied OR2. So if you're voting in favor of it would be a yes, a no would be a declination of the applicant's request.
Thank you. Keith,
No,
Mark,
it's a no from me.
and that would be a no from me as well. So,
The application is denied. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
have a good evening. And that wraps up the business before the board.
Jim,
at this.
Mr. Chairman, before
Yes.
you do that, I think there were two other items on the agenda. Martina, would you care to comment on those two?
Sure. 225 Highland Avenue never acknowledged that they were invited for the public hearing. We never heard the applicant or their attorney. And then 2 Linwood Avenue asked to adjourn it to the next month because they did not manage to do the maintenance.
So with respect to 225, we did not hear from the applicant or the attorney.
No, that's correct.
So I think at this point, any application that has been provided to the board should be deemed null and void at this point, as they failed to come to the meeting and did not put out the notices as required. So we should strike that from our agenda.
Fair enough. Do we have to take a vote on that?
You can.
Okay. I would like to make a motion that we vote on striking 225 Highland Avenue from the agenda for this evening's meeting.
I second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The ayes have it. And do we have to take action on the other application or just,
I believe the applicant has requested an adjournment of tonight, so the board, there is a request for an adjournment, so the board should consider the request.
okay, and we can consider that when it comes before us at a future meeting.
A motion to adjourn for future consideration.
Okay, so I'd like to make a motion to adjourn the 92 Linden Avenue for future consideration.
I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it. Any other items?
No, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion to close out the meeting.
Oh, I'm sorry, before you do so,
Sorry.
previously you mentioned that Ms. Cavallaro had submitted a resignation, so want to thank her for her service to the zoning board.
Yes, and
And
to
wish
the
her good
people of
luck.
the city of Middletown, and wish her good luck. Does anyone else on the board have a comment or well wish for Ms. Cavallaro? I wish her well. Okay. We all do.
Likewise, love the energy, love that she was part of the squad, and I'm so happy that she got a chance to serve Middletown in this capacity. And if she's watching, I wish her well. I wish her well.
Yes, we all do. And thank you, Mr. Martinez, for being here tonight. And same thing with Martina. All right, that's all for tonight. I'd like a motion for adjournment. Mr. Woody?
I make that motion.
Okay, and a second from Keith.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Have a good evening.